franchises go, how would you rate this one and where they are?
Well, still a couple of weeks before opening day, but
Right.
everything leading up to where we are today has been on target, according to plan, and frankly, over-delivering on most of the things that Anthony and his team were talking about over the past, year or so. From the launch of the brand, the engagement of their fan base, and the initial inroads in the community, the relationship with the mayor and other elected officials, to getting the launch of a fan base and launching season ticket sales, which have been off the charts, and then obviously the programs in the community, the St. David Center, which I can't wait to see tomorrow, and then obviously today. I've been at 25 stadium openings, and every one sort of is special in its own way. And frankly, for me, it's one of the most, if not the most important parts of the job. We're building a league from scratch, and you take for granted the UT Stadium, or you take for granted Cowboy Stadium or Yankee Stadium, but in our sport, we're still building the foundation of the sport, and these stadiums are the centerpiece of players and fans creating, great memories. What I love about the plan here is they thought about every last detail. It's very open, and I think that reflects this community. It kind of feels like you're in your backyard. And by the way, there might be a soccer game that's going to take place here on Saturday night. Lots of great fan amenities, and the food scene, and the sound and lights, which I'm sure Anthony talked about, are the latest in technology. I love the market concept. You walk around in there, you sort of feel like you're walking in a great area of Austin. So very excited about it. Hats off to everybody that was involved. Couldn't have done it without the mayor's support from the very beginning. And Anthony put together a killer team. And he and Eddie Morgaine and the rest of the ownership group, they deserve a lot of credit. People will be giving them a great round of applause at our board meeting at the end of April.
Is there any?
What was Austin on the radar for, from the beginning days?
Yeah, I first met the mayor at a U.S. Council of Mayors meeting when I was at South by Southwest, and I don't remember where that was. It was in a bar, and I was speaking to a bunch of folks, and I had a handful of mayors that we had done, projects with speak up, and it was then that we said, at some point we need to find a way to have a team here. And we kept in touch for many, many years, even through some challenging times. And this was a difficult project to get from beginning to through the middle and to the end. We are a league on the rise, and we want to be in great cities that are not only risen, but also having an identity that really reflects the culture of our country and this demographic that we have, which we call ourselves a league for New America. That New America lives right here in Austin. And you're going to see that in this stadium. You're going to see it in their front office. You're going to see it with their fan base. It's a perfect match.
I'm sure you learned something from every.
Listen, today's world, everything is a challenge, right? And I think we all have lived and experienced that. This was different. It was a different path than any other team that we've launched. And throughout it all, we were very focused on ensuring that we can get, the right brand, the right ownership group, the right stadium, the right relationship in the community. And we were just laser focused on ensuring that would happen, and it did. And I think it just speaks to commitment, it speaks to vision, it speaks to it was kind of meant to be.
For the build itself, is there anything that is sort of a model moving forward from this one?
Yeah, I mean, again, I said this is for me the best part of the job, and every project has something that we learn from. I think what is going to be, people are going to be very surprised to see here is the proximity to, the fans to the field, the fact that we have the largest roof structure in Major League Soccer, that in an outdoor open environment is going to create almost a gladiator-like den where the sound is going to reverberate off of that steel and people are going to hear it downtown. And I think that's something that we're focused on thinking about in the next buildings that we have coming online. it's also shaded in an environment where it can get pretty hot. And that's something that we're watching and paying close attention to. I love the mesh seats. I'd never seen that before. And that just seems to make perfect sense to me. I heard that those seats were used in a baseball stadium in Las Vegas. So it starts there. I toured the locker room. The locker room has every latest technology and amenity, and I think all of our clubs will start paying attention to the latest technologies. Last thing I'll say, and I think many of our teams have been doing this, but they did a really good job here, is representing the food culture of the city. Food is such an important part of the culture of the city, but it is a big part of cities now throughout our country, throughout Canada, and I think they delivered on that with leaving restaurants pretty well.
The mayor said that that he wasn't sure once Anthony agreed to, or once the ownership group agreed to pay for the stadium in full, that you guys would sign off on that. Why did you have the confidence in Austin, and it hasn't been validating to see the level of support?
Yeah, well, I would have loved if the city paid for the whole thing, but that wasn't going to happen. And I think we've recognized now that, public-private part, there's still an enormous amount of public support to get things like this done. Nobody should think just because there's not a bond that's been floated that the city and everybody around in the community didn't have to move mountains to make this project happen. I think Anthony knew early on that there was not going to be the kind of funding that might have happened in other cities across the country, but it didn't sway him or us from trying to do what we needed to do to get a deal done. They've been smart in how they can capture revenue. They're a lot, and they're top in the league, or the top quartile in the league in season ticket sales and corporate revenue so far, and what their anticipated hospitality revenue is. All of that goes into the equation. So, they've done a good job.
Yeah, so 2020 provided some challenges financially and otherwise with the league. Can you talk about the health and the prognosis of MLS?
Yeah, the league is in great shape.
Good.
That didn't mean that it wasn't a tough year for us and for everybody in pro sports, but we have committed owners and understand that this is a long-term proposition. It also required give and take on a lot of people's part. Staff at the league and clubs took salary reductions. Our players took salary reductions, and we were able to finalize a unique approach to our collective bargaining agreement to address the financial impact on our league. But we've just got to work harder, and I feel this way about our industry, and I feel this way about the economy in our country. We just got to do the American thing. We got to hunker down. We got to get past this pandemic. We got to be smart. We got to be innovative, and we got to work our tails off to get back to where we were.
Do you expect to maybe showcase the stadium a little bit? Maybe
Yeah, I think Anthony or the group will talk about that. They got a lot of plans coming up and announcements to make. I think it's important to note that this is not just a stadium for this club. This will be representing soccer throughout Central Texas. I think you're going to see men's matches that are not just MLS games, international matches. You'll see special events. You'll see women's games. And why would anybody who is going to be touring as a concert, a musician, or anybody putting on a soccer match not want to be playing here? And why would any fan not want to be able to share that, extension of the Austin FC brand to other activities? So this place is going to be, it's going to over-deliver. It's over-delivered on our expectations so far. I think it's going to go over-deliver on the expectations of the people here in Austin. It's going to be great.
What do you hope?
Not yet. I didn't mean to not answer your question, but we will have an All-Star game here in Austin. We make those commitments to any team that builds a stadium, but we've been building a lot of stadiums. So this year we haven't announced yet where the All-Star game will be. We'll probably be announcing that sometime in next month, and it'll be great. It'll be different than any other All-Star game we've ever had, but no more news or my comms guy will kick me in. I can't say.
You got 3 more teams coming on in the next couple of years. It brings it to 30.
Right.
Are you kind of saturated there? You feel like?
Yeah, it's. I remind people as I travel around the world. I sit on this committee at FIFA, which represents all the leagues around the world, and we're by far today the largest league anywhere in global football. But we also play in the largest market. We go across 3 time zones. We go across multiple, weather. We go across 2 countries, and so far we're the only league that does that. So, we have a lot of growth still in front of us. and we're going to stop at 30 and get those teams onboarded, and I can't say whether we'll go beyond that. I'm intrigued by the fact that professional soccer is exploding in North America. That's great for all of you who love the game. I think minor league soccer is expanding, and markets we never thought would be great professional markets are showing great support at the lower levels. So I'm really bullish about what this could look like in the years to come.
Do you, I know, because I worked with Phil Rollins with the Aztecs, and I know in conversations with them and talking to you back then, way back before Orlando. So do you sense the accomplishment as a commissioner of a sport, as I asked the mayor, because Austin has been starved for a major professional. We've had a lot of minor league, but does the MLS and you as the commissioner, do you get a sense of what an accomplishment it is to bring a major team to Austin and the vibe that Austin?
Well, it's interesting. I don't view it as much as an accomplishment as much as it's something that we're thrilled about. I don't think we said let's go to Austin so that we could be the first professional sports league here. It was let's go to Austin because it's such a great city and it'll be such a great MLS market, and it was not an easy path. So being able to see where we were to where we are now has us really excited and bullish. But our industry needs to be excited right now. We've taken our lumps. The live event business has been challenged over the last year. To have the enthusiasm and to have the optimism of a new team in a brand new building in a market that has not had a professional Division I league before, what could be more empowering than that? So that's what pumps us up.
How do you see the having a third team in Texas sort of affecting the?
Yeah, it's
the
funny.
growth here?
I think people are underestimating what that's going to look like. You're going to see people traveling in caravans from Dallas, and Houston, and Austin. And you're going to see fans. One of the guys told me earlier today that during one of the preseason matches, there were a couple of dozen people banging drums behind a fence at a preseason game. So you're going to start seeing a lot more energy around the sport here in Texas. This has always been a very diverse state, and I think that diversity has led to support historically for the game of soccer. But now that you have 3 MLS teams here,
do you think it'll cause a change in behavior from the ownership in Houston and Dallas?
What's that?
Have you noticed a change in behavior from
every competition is good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what we're all about: competition on the field, but also getting people to see, innovation and what. Somebody asked a question: what could you take away? So I hope people in Houston, people in Dallas, the ownership groups look at what's happening here, and we are MLS is a partnership. So we are partners off the field and competitors on the field. So I'm sure the Hunt family and Gabriel Brenner will sit down and say, what can we do to make Texas sort of a Lone Star state, something that stands globally as a place where soccer or football can really resonate.
How is the league coordinating with individual clubs in terms of attendance and COVID regulations?
We've got a massive effort started in the bubble, then returning to play that will continue, as we launch into this coming season in a week or so. Lots of health and safety protocols. We're still testing players. We're still encouraging masks. You're going to start seeing a lot more effort, if you will, as we start getting more fans into stadiums to ensure that we're mindful in protecting the health and safety of fans, not just our players and our staff. So all of the leagues are very coordinated, both with the CDC and local health authorities. We look forward to fans coming back to our stadiums.
The 30-team plan consequent hit, with Sacramento, and now, what kind of lesson you would, or kind of give to potential city, potential ownership, whether it be in Sacramento?
So we still are very bullish about Sacramento. Nothing that's happened has us thinking that Sacramento wouldn't be a great MLS market. And someone in my relationship with Mayor Adler, I've got a very close relationship with Darryl Steinberg, who's worked very hard for a very long time to develop an area of downtown called the Rail Yards and have our stadium be the anchor of that. And we'll continue to work with him and investors to see if that could potentially remain our 30th team. But that was a COVID casualty. The delay in construction and the development of that railroad site created enormous financial challenges, and ultimately it just got too expensive. Ron Burkle is a great guy, and he's a strong owner in the National Hockey League. This is not anything without him. It's just a project sort of got sideways, and you'd rather move away from something and get back to it at the right time and just try to go forward and make it work if it's not right.
You told Anthony you expect the playoff team out of this roster?
No, I think Anthony has told his staff that.
We've got time for one more,
yeah,
folks.
I look forward.
Because
He's got a great coach, and
Yeah.
Claudio Reyna's an experienced guy. And one thing I said earlier, this is not Anthony's first team. It's not an expansion guy that's come in and has never done this before.
Right.
So this team is sort of almost like a expansion team plus.
Mm-hmm.
He has the experience of managing a team. He hired, one of the great coaches in the history of our country. Josh has worked for him for many years. He knows Claudio. Josh and Claudio played together, so they have a head start.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hopeful. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. When you sit where I sit, I want home fans to be excited and see trophies lifted, but you can only lift one trophy.
You said it's a thrill on the league's part to have Austin as being the latest addition to the league, or being an addition to the league. But how much of an asset is Austin in terms of the league's growth, but also with the growth of interest of soccer in the city here?
I think the two are tied together. It sounds like commissioner speak when you say, a league on the rise, marrying one of the great cities in America that has been rising for so long. And it's not just, a statement. There's a great alignment between what the city is and what it represents and what we are and what we want to represent. And we look forward to seeing how that, continues to roll out in time. It's a great brand. This brand is going to resonate. I think you're going to start seeing people wearing this kit around the world, and you're going to start seeing athletes in other parts of the country, putting on this jersey or this kit. Matthew helps, and he's a great part of this ownership group. He's very engaged. This is not a celebrity owner. This is a guy that is in meetings and in board meetings and in brand meetings, and I think Matthew will help sort of the broader exposure of this club outside of just the city to this country, throughout North America, and potentially even beyond that.
Don, are you hopeful that you can see 100% fans opening for the stadiums?
I hope to see as many fans in our stadiums as quickly as we can, ensuring that we are managing the health and safety of our fans and everybody that's associated with it. So I don't think there's a mad dash to try to open up too quickly so that we're not ensuring that people feel comfortable. And that's a careful balance. And I know our owners and the league are very thoughtful about that. I was encouraged to see a full crowd at the Rangers game. I was excited to see that. And then we want to have full stadiums. We have people who've worked in our league for the last year and don't remember what it's like to see supporters, to see people banging drums and jumping up and down and waving flags and packing the supporter section. And I'm confident with a fully vaccinated country, which we encourage everybody to go out and get vaccinated, that we're going to be able to return to some semblance of normalcy. The path to that is vaccination. So our league has been as active as we can to encourage our players to get vaccinated, our staff to get vaccinated, and our fans to get vaccinated.
You vaccinated?
I have been.
Twice?
I have been vaccinated twice, yes.
thank you, everyone. Tom
Thank you.
has some radio interviews set up for the
Appreciate it.
commish, so we don't want to keep
Thanks.
that.